Welcome to episode 86 of About the Cards podcast, live tonight on YouTube. As always, with me, my host, Stephen Loeffler, as your Quacks Twins.
Oh, hi.
Ben Wilson at our trading cards, and I'm Tim Shepler at Big Shep 79. We are a podcast by collectors for collectors, hoping to bring you a smart and insightful podcast discussing trading card collecting.
Only hoping to bring you.
We're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific.
10 Central.
On YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, all those fun places. Follow us on Twitter at About the Cards. Available as a podcast pretty much everywhere. Check out the website, aboutthecards.wordpress.com. Good evening, fellas. How are we doing? Another week
hi.
Of collecting.
Quick to address a minor note. There was a video that we posted that was from the Topps Rip Party. I hadn't yet listened to it, but somebody had said that the audio was bad, and that's just a nature of the venue that we were in. I'm going to edit it and hopefully make the audio better and then re-upload it.
All right, sounds
good.
So
keep an eye out for that.
Stuff. So how are you doing tonight, Benjamin?
I am excellent. I can't wait for my Mike Minor Topps Living, which we'll get to.
Ugh. Yeah, but that's about to get you kicked out of the stream.
No. Oh, settle down. Settle down.
A little bit of sad news as we start off the show, and we hate to start this way, but we think it's appropriate. We need to bring it up. At Mr. DS Grumpy, Larry Ribideau passed away this last Friday. 62. He was a big time collector. Anybody that ever ran into him, he was very generous, very knowledgeable, very caring and sharing. I ended up with a lot of those Walgreens yellows from last year's set.
Amen. Yeah.
From him. He hooked it up, especially yes. Garrett Hampson. I think I got 2 from him, the ones I have. His sons tweeted out from his account, "Hey everyone, this is Larry's sons, Dylan and Vince. We regret to inform you all of his friends and his card buddies that Larry passed away this morning peacefully at home. I know he valued all of your friendships and loved the kind words sent to him since his battle started." It was a quick one too. Like he'd been ill for like a not very long period of time. I know some people put a big care package to him that unfortunately didn't make it to him, but it made it to his sons this last week. Scott Berger was delivering that, and so they got to trade some stories about their dad, and and Scott brought some Twitter stories and that kind of stuff. So I know people reached out to them and shared some. So. He had one of the best Twitter bios, I think, ever. It was short and simple. It says, "Laughter is pain-free. I PC Nolan Ryan anything that looks good."
What a great
What a simple way to collect.
Yeah.
It's perfect. And, to that, I know that one of his huge things was 1991 Upper Deck. The Heroes of Sport, I think is what they called it. He had the autographed versions. He was trying to get the highest PSA grades of those for his sons, as well as the 68 Nolan Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Larry was a good guy. Last year with the yellows, I went back because I was talking to his son in private through Larry's account. And I asked permission if we could mention Larry's passing on our show tonight. And he's like, "Man, I'd be honored." And I said, Larry was a good friend, so we really want to do it because he meant a lot to each of us. And I saw the last conversation I had with him, which was about the yellows in private, at least. And I asked him, "Hey, if you have any A's," and he's like, "I got the Laureano for you." And he's like, "What's your address?" And I said, "No, man, I've got to send you something because Laureano was selling a lot higher last year." And I said, "There's no way this is like a $15 card." And he's like, "What's your address? It's yours." And
right.
That was the kind of guy, to me, that summed him up in a nutshell. That was the kind of collector he was. He got it and rehomed it to the right person, who he felt was the right person, I should say. I feel terrible. It was horrible news, of course, and we want to offer our condolences to the whole family and his extended family, and anybody who's listening out there that were friends with him, personally or just through Twitter. He was a good guy, and he'll be missed in the hobby. And
Definitely.
you know, it's always tough when we lose one of our quote unquote brothers or sisters.
For sure. And also, too, Tony Fernandez passed away this week at 57. I think it was kidney disease. He was a 17-year Major League vet with the Blue Jays, Padres, Mets, Reds, Yankees, Indians, and Brewers. He was one of the most famous trades of all time. He and McGriff for Alomar and Carter, who helped the Jays win 2 series in 92 and 93. Funny enough that Tony made it back to that 93 team and helped them win that World Series title. He was a 5-time All-Star and a 4-time Gold Glover. I think all his Gold Gloves were in succession in the mid-'80s. He was one of those he was just like a like everyday great player, right? Like he was in the lineup. You knew he was going to come out. He was going to hit. He was going to steal. He was going to play defense, and he was going to be a good, valuable asset to your team. And you look, he played for all these different teams and playoff teams. I mean, the Yankees and the Indians were in the playoffs at those points in time, in the late 90s. So it's it was a quick thing. We found out he was kind of sick, and then all of a sudden, boom, he was gone. And and it's sad when 57's way too young. But I would say he was like, when they always have those in archives, the fan favorites. I think in Toronto, Tony Gwynn would be on that list with that outfield of Bell, Mosby, and Barfield, right? Like you think of those 80s and 90s Blue Jays, he's one of the top 5 or 6.
He was one of the he was one of those dudes. Tim and I being a little older than Steph, you'd get the Ames and the Remco or Revco and Woolworths packs of the All Stars, and he was in a few of those sets. He was one of those guys. He was really hard to hate, regardless of what team he had played for. To me, he was always like a slightly better version of like a Tony Phillips, a guy that can play multiple positions, kind of a jack of all trades. I mean, solid shortstop for Toronto for years. One of those players that you always wish somehow had made it to your favorite team. He never did make it to Oakland for me, but he was always fun to watch and fun to root against because he was such a good player. He's such a fun player to watch. And so, yeah, like you said, 57 is such a young age to pass away.
Well, and, speaking personally, and I got an image pulled up here. I've said in the past that, the Topps Archive Signature Series is kind of a trash product in that, you'd get like 2 or 3 cards and like a Tony Fernandez. And now I feel like trash because I'm not walking back my statement on those products. But this might be a perfect instance of where you'd want a Tony Fernandez auto. Where they had it fulfilled, and now Blue Jays fans who want to relive the 92 and 93 World Series can go back and pick up his auto. And I'd offer him up to any Blue Jays fan. I think I have 2 in one of my boxes.
I'll tell you this much, honestly, if I was opening up archives and I got a fan favorite auto and I got a Tony Fernandez, dude, I'd have been ecstatic because I loved watching Fernandez, and especially on that 85 card. Look at that. That's a slick looking card. The 2 different color blues.
Isn't that his rookie year?
Yeah, it might have been. Yeah.
I think it is.
I think he had an 84, but to me, that's why I love the archives fan favorites. I don't want them to do away with that aspect of the collecting hobby. That's just my personal preference. I just think that if they could figure out a way to put it in another product, like maybe Heritage, why couldn't you have a subset in Heritage? Because it works so well with that. Or another one, maybe,
No, yeah, it's 94 Donruss was his rookie card. That's right. I remember he had a rated rookie. I can't remember what year it was. So
he's the kind of, we need more of that and less of the Topps Archive signature crap. That's just more one-off. Yeah, right. we need more of the guys from the 80s and the 90s, and as years go on, obviously the 2000s. It's just to me as a collector, it's good stuff. It's fun, and like an ode to our friend Larry, right?
Yeah.
I collect what I like. I'm sorry if Tim and I are at the show next month and I saw one of those in a showcase for $12, $10, $8, I'd probably buy it, even though it falls outside of my main PC. because it's a one-off. It's collecting some autos of some guys. Dale Murphy's one that I don't have that I need. I got an Andre Dawson. Eric Davis, stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, let's get into some happier stuff that I think that Larry would enjoy. The week that was last week's releases, Topps Living Week 101, card 285, Edgar Martinez, Hall of Fame player without a position. Seattle Mariners, he sold just over 2,200. And card 286, Brad Ziegler, pitcher and awesome collector of the Miami Marlins.
You say that, but the DH award is named after him for a reason.
I'm just giving him a hard time. I liked Edgar. I always he should have been in the Hall of Fame a long time ago. Sold 21 cards over 2,000, so he broke that barrier. So not shocking. I picked up 2 Zieglers because I'm going to send him one and ask for an autograph to go with my Neshek. Now we just need to get Phil Hughes in Topps Living so I can complete the trio of baseball pitchers to collect.
Trevor May.
Trevor May collects?
And he shot out a video this morning saying, between these dates and these dates is when you can send to this address. Between these days and these days, this is when you can send off.
Oh, that's awesome.
Please include return shipping.
Yeah, really, if you're not doing that, then he should get to keep the card.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, so no, were you guys shocked at all this week at the numbers?
Not particularly.
Yeah.
More of the same for Topps Living.
Yep. Right where we expect. This week will probably be different. 2019-2020 Panini Donruss Optic basketball drop. The hottest product out. It's on fire. If you can make money on it. You find it in a retail store. Don't even open it. Just put it on, sell it. Doesn't matter what it is. You're going to make a ton of money. One of our friends bought a couple $100 worth and made was it 2x on it?
Yeah.
So
something to that effect.
Something crazy. This is a guy that doesn't do that. This guy doesn't go out and buy wax.
Self-proclaimed set collector.
Yeah, hardcore set collector, and Tigers collector. Anything Tigers. We also had 2019 Panini plates and patches football drop, and then 1920 Upper Deck Allure hockey. Hot off the presses, this week's new releases. Yes, Topps Living Week 102, card 287. Woo, Hall of Famer. Woo. Best third baseman ever. 98.2% of the Hall of Fame, top 10.
Right.
George Brett of the Kansas City Royals.
Settle down, man. Settle down.
Whoo!
You need to take your video off because
you're lucky I still have clothes on.
Much like the guy on Twitter today.
Yes. Oh, hey, William. Let me slide it in them DMs. Yes, this is amazing card. I've already made my purchase. I actually went direct to Topps. That's how many I purchased. And at one point in time, it said it was sold out, guys. I bought all of the George Bretts. I bought so many they couldn't print enough. What's funny
is we got a private message or a message from or tagged by Topps Living Stat this morning, and it was Steph and it says, I forget what exactly what it said. It said something to the effect of,
guys, somebody check on Shep.
Somebody check on Shep, and I'm just like, what in the world is going on? And I'm looking at that, and I'm thinking, I don't understand. And then moments later, he ends up sending out the George Brett, and I'm like, now I get it.
Yeah.
So how many Mike Miners did you buy?
I didn't buy any Mike Miners.
Oh, quit lying.
Zero.
It's about time we get another big time Hall of Famer.
The other card real quick was 288.
It's
Mike
still
Minor pitcher,
a big
Texas
time
Rangers.
For us to get another.
So
yeah, it's about time that Brett gets it. And I hope we're going to see more and more of the Brett era Hall of Famers as the weeks go on, because we need more of that 70s and 80s representation, I think.
I got a question for you guys. Do you know if the Rangers have had more Topps Living cards this year than cards in Series 1?
Of course.
Or is it neck and neck, 1-1?
I think it's tied 1-1.
Interesting.
Yep.
All right, so moving on in reference to the George Brett, let's go ahead.
Oh, what? I mean, the show's over. We're going to end the show right there. No, and then also card 288, Mike Minor, pitcher of the Rangers. So real quick, how many Bretts are there? We got a question. Will he outsell Raleigh Fingers? Raleigh Fingers sold like 6. No, actually, Raleigh Fingers sold 26.33. I say Brett adds at least 1,000 to that number. So Brett's over 3,600.
No way. Now, Top's Living Stat, our friend on Twitter, he DMs me and he's like, hey, listen, what do you guys think? Why don't you guys talk about it? And I said, there's no way Brett doesn't clear 3. And then he starts coming at me with numbers, right? He's like, listen, 4 of the last 16 Legends sold less than $3,000, and or 4 of the 16 sold over $3,000, and he's going nuts on these numbers, and he's like, watch it be closer than you think. I think Brett gets 3,000. I don't think he gets 3,300.
Okay, I say, what's our bet? I say hits over 3,300.
You say over 3,300?
Yeah.
All right, we got a card show coming up, right?
$5 shopping spree.
$5. I was gonna say 10. $5 is fine.
Oh, we can do 10. I don't want to take all your money though. I don't want you to have nothing left to spend at the show.
Well, no, he's gonna have to make you pay for it.
$5 sounds good because $5 is a cup of coffee, right?
Yeah.
So you can either have a cup of coffee or $5 spending spree.
I would, to be honest, I would like to lose the bet and he fall to 3,154. The number of hits he had in his career. That would be awesome.
I'll tell you this much. If he hits that smack on the dot, you still win. So you got over 3,301 or 3,300 on the dot and above, right? I'll take 3,299 and below. But you do reserve 3,154.
All right, good deal.
Okay. Right.
So on a related note, speaking of George Brett, apparently Heritage Auctions had his
this jersey?
That jersey at one of the radio shows here.
Yeah.
This morning. It
was up at like 85,000, I think, something like that. My wife said no.
We'll get to it.
Yeah. So check out Top's Living Stat for full breakdown of where these cards just fall respectively in the set, by team, and by position. We also have 2019 Panini Select football drops today. $235 or so a box, 12 packs per box, 5 cards per pack. You're gonna get 2 autos, 1 mem card, 6 inserts, and 15 prism parallels. It's a 300 card base set. With each 100, there's 3 sections of it. It's divided up, each with a slightly different design and separate mix of prism parallels. There's the concourse set, and that's most common. You're going to get 24 of those a box. Premier levels, 10 a box, and field levels, 2 a box. So good luck if you want to build the set. There's
and
also
this is kind of a preview in that baseball is getting select again this year.
Yep. There's also the XRC Redemption, so another preview. It's a promise for cards for the key 2020 draft picks. They're 1 in every 4 boxes. And there's also mystery redemption autographs that are inserted. I saw Mojo pull one. It was a tie-dye mystery redemption autograph QB, number 1. Basically, it was the number 1 pick the way it was worded. So most likely a Joe Burrows. And you know what they were doing, which is different than they've done in the past? Normally in the past, they would just random through all. They were actually holding on to all the XRCs they pull to send them to the rightful owner of that break. So if you bought into the Bengals break, and I think it was pretty cheap because the Bengals' first-round draft pick was from my high school, but he played offensive tackle. He's not going to be in this. And they don't, there wasn't a lot else in there. So you could have gotten the Bengals super cheap in a break, and now you're going to get maybe a Joe Burrows number 1 pick tie-dye auto. That's pretty awesome. We always love the XRCs here. Look for rookie signature memorabilia, prisms, and also jumbo signature swatches. Those are going to be good. And one of my favorite all-time sets back from the Fleer days, rookie sensation inserts.
Tradition?
No, I don't like Fleer Tradition. Like old days Fleer when they had those rookie sensations, like what was that 91 with the blue? 90 or 92, whatever that was. Oh, those were sweet. Sweet cards. So yeah, that drops. And then also too, dropping today, 2019-2020 Upper Deck Series 2 Hockey. $60 a box. Hey, look at that. A hot hobby box people want. And there's cards in there people are chasing. But it's at a reasonable price. $60.
And unless you live in Dallas, you can actually find it at retail.
24 packs per box, 8 cards per pack. You're going to get 1 O-Pee-Chee Update Blue Foil, 2 O-Pee-Chee Update Retros, 4 Canvas, 4 rookie Portrait Rookies, 5 O-Pee-Chee Update cards, 6 Young Guns, which is what you're chasing. Those are the rookie cards. The 250 card base set with 200 vets and the 50 Young Guns. Well, it's 49 in a checklist. It's a continuation of the flagship of Series 1, of course, and more base and inserts and Young Guns. And they also include updates for the 1920 O-Pee-Chee set. So they released O-Pee-Chee, but then the update for O-Pee-Chee is actually
in
Series 2.
And the photo for Canvas doesn't do it justice because it's the texture thing.
Yeah, no, I was going to talk about that. Yeah, the Canvas cards are one of the big inserts in the set, but their base cards just done like a really vintage, like almost like a paint, like a canvas, like if you felt like a painting, right? That canvasy material, it's legit like that. So Young Guns are basically short prints, one every 4 packs. Some key ones we went through. We had 5 here. So card 451, Kirby Datch, right, center of the Blackhawks.
Yep.
Yes, and then we have card 458, John Marino, who's a defenseman for the Penguins.
Not
478. What's up?
Not the Dolphins.
The Penguins, yes. But Dan Marino was from Pittsburgh, played at Pittsburgh. Weird connection. Card 478, Philippe Zadina, forward for the Red Wings. And card 493, Cale Makar, defenseman for the Avalanche. I actually pulled a UD Canvas Young Guns and some Series 1. Sold that. I've taken that money and I bought his Young Gun today. And also card 499, Capo Keiko, forward for the Rangers. Picked both those bad boys up today. I'm excited. Plus, I picked up a Hughes a couple of days ago. Collecting that hockey. That's where you need to be. Get on that ice.
Can't get them started.
No, it's fun. No, the fun thing is looking at these hockey cards. The photography is just phenomenal. You know, I saw that they also have like the clear acetates. Their tough inserts. Their hobby exclusives.
Yep.
Vets are 1 in every 96 packs. Young Guns are 1 in every 288 packs. Mojo did a case break today, and I saw him pull 2 Maker Young Guns and a clear out of 1 case. So whoever bought that case or whoever bought the Avalanche there did an outstanding job. Select base cards also have variations, which are 1 in every 1,000 packs.
Kind of look like these.
And then there's a second group of the St. Louis Blues that got their day with the cup cards. There's 8 of them, and those are 1 in 1,000, and showing their personal time with the Stanley Cup. O-Pee-Chee update cards cover both veterans, which are 1 in every 24 packs, and rookies, which are 1 in 6. There's a lot going on in a box for $60. You didn't hear me say autographs. There are autographs. I think it's like 1 per case, give or take, is what I heard, which is what they fall. But it's not about the autographs. It's about those Young Guns. I love it. It's collectible rookie cards.
Yep.
And it has been that way for a long, long time. I think we talked about this during Series 1. So.
Well, yeah, because the first Young Guns were what, 89, 90?
Was it 90?
91?
91 was the first
91?
Yep. So
it is the best sport.
I see. Steph was with me when I busted my first box of hockey ever, and I pulled out. It was Series 2 last year, and I pulled out Connor Hart. What's his name? Carter Hart for the Flyers, and told that was a good one. So
at the Upper Deck booth, no less.
Yes, right there. So check out Ryan Cracknell's articles on Beckett.com/snooze for a lot more details on these releases. He also too just sent out the checklist for for Topps Heritage, which drops next week. We're gonna get into that. What's brewing next week's releases? 2020 Topps Heritage. So Cracknell dropped that checklist today. Broke it down by teams and autographs. Royals, no autographs. Only 3 short prints though, and 1 for the Giants. I'm happy.
No Tiger short prints.
No Tiger short prints. But you know what's funny? The Rangers had 1 card in Series 1, right? You think like, okay, so Series 1's printed, and then 2 weeks later they have, or 3 weeks later Heritage comes out. Heritage, 14 Rangers. So what happened, you assholes?
Well, see, what happened was we weren't going to put the foil on.
Good times. The Heritage. Oh, by the way, Tim, there's a card that we both need together. I know we'll get into it later with the Heritage, but there's a Reggie Jackson, Jorge Soler, then and now insert.
Just buy it and cut it in half.
That's what we're going to do.
But no, like... Anyway.
When you have a checklist released 2 weeks after the other one and your excuse is something to do with a logo or some crap, and then another product comes out 2 weeks later and you've got an overabundance, a typical checklist should have about 14 cards, right? Roughly. What gives?
Yeah. They each have 5 short prints, so good luck. Good luck building that too. And also, if you like superstars and young players, they're all going to be short prints too, really, except for I think Mike Trout is in the regular base set. I looked. Buster Posey is too. There's a handful, but if you want Alonso, Guerrero, Tatis, a lot of Acuna, a lot of the guys people want, they're all short prints. So,
yeah. Again, I think they did that for the first time last year, right?
Yeah, just loaded it up.
Yeah.
2019-2020 Upper Deck SP Game Used comes out next week.
That
might get pushed again. It's been pushed a couple of times already. In 2019, Panini One Football, which I think that might be a new release.
I believe so.
Yeah.
You see that in chat?
Yeah. What, the no logos on Heritage?
No, McDavid.
Oh. Yeah, look at that.
Oof.
McDavid.
That's got to be pretty.
Yes. That's one because, I'm an Oilers guy, right? And so that's one I need to have.
I'm sorry.
Hey, at least it's better being a fan of the Wild. What a lame name. Like something like the North Stars would have been cool, but whatever. Infield Chatter, our Hobby Talk section. The Hobby Hotline. Hobby Hotline is going to be live again this Saturday on YouTube, Periscope, etc. on 8 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 Eastern. John Newman from Sports Card Nation will be on. Drew Herndon from Let Me Get That Potograph, and Ben Wilson from About the Cards. Those three will be on there chit-chatting away and on a handful of topics. So that'll be a fun show. Last week it was a great show. So yeah, we've
I think it was.
It's been fun. Right?
It's been interesting, definitely, and I think we're getting a little bit more support going into week 2 from week 1 now that names out there a little bit more.
Definitely week 2 was the best week.
Yeah, no, I thought Steph was on it. It was great.
Yeah.
Good collection of knowledge, over 300 years of collective knowledge. So, but what's awesome about it is just in the 2 weeks I've learned a lot. I didn't know a whole lot about NASCAR cards, so having Val on has been huge.
Yeah. Plus his shirt last week was legit. Yeah, and so that's been fun. So check it out. It's on YouTube, Periscope. It's out there on in the iTunes. It's out there in the podcast world. I'm trying to get it out to some more spots out there. So check it out. It's fun. We like doing it. The guys were kind of still filling each other out, but it's been a lot of fun.
Kind of like the guy on Twitter earlier. No. And more so, now it no longer has just some random numbers on its YouTube account. We have a vanity title again.
Yeah, it's The
so
Hobby
you should
Hotline.
just be able to search it, and that's our account.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. So that Babe Ruth card, right? We talked about this third week. This
I don't want to sell it. I told you that.
His dumb card. So he wanted $2,500 or $125,000 for it.
Right,
okay?
not mine.
It sold for $1,825, or less than 1.5% of the asking of what he was looking for. Yeah, I don't think the buyer pays. What do you guys think?
No way. He should have put a reserve on it because it was such a valuable card. But
if he got $1,800 for it, that was about $1,000 more than it probably is worth.
Yeah, our good friend Brent Williams responded to, I had tweeted out, there's no way this gets paid for. And he goes, why not? And a ton of people responded to Brent, myself included, basically saying because everybody that bid on it, or most everybody that bid on it, was nothing more than a shill just to kind of laugh and joke and see how high it could get. And I'm surprised it didn't sell for higher, just considering how famous the card now is, knowing damn well no matter how high it went, it was not going to get paid for.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, if he gets it, awesome, congrats. But it's just funny. It just shows like, hey, dummy, your card wasn't as cool as you thought.
And, if what was actually true about his mother's passing and that's what he wanted to use that card towards, I hope someone does pay down the succession of people who voted towards the end. I just don't think he gets 1,800 for it.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate if that's truly the case.
Yeah, but even still, hey, if it's worth 1,800, good. I hope he gets his money. But it also shows him how relatively not valuable it is compared to his assertion that it was the most valuable card of all time.
Right.
It's just like, hey, if it's an $1,800 card, it still is a Babe Ruth 1 of 1. Okay. Maybe it is an $1,800 card. Maybe someone's going to add it to their collection for no other reason. You're telling me, both of you guys can answer this. If you were a multimillionaire, independently wealthy, you wouldn't have dropped $1,800 on that just to have it.
Take it off the market? Yeah, probably.
I would that and lit it on fire.
Relatedly, did you guys hear about the guy who went to a theater and bought out every other seat on Valentine's Day?
Yeah, I think that was Ben. Let's be honest.
No, but that's how something stupid that dumb Ben would have done.
Well, we're working on that. Hey, real quick, guys, I have some breaking news. This just confirmed 100% here. Next week, we're going to have a Pro Bowler, an actual NFL active Pro Bowler on the show. Okay, so Denver Broncos long snapper Casey Kreider will be on the show next week. He's a collector. He sent out a question today about, it was regarding
misprints, actually.
Misprints, yeah, with no Tops logo that Ivan tweeted out. He said something to it. I looked in, Ben, I think, responded back saying it was missing the Tops logo. I hit him up, said, hey, dude, you want to come on the show? And went back and forth, confirmed. He goes, hey, I said you're live. What happens if I cuss? I'm like, oh, fuck, don't worry about it, dude. We're good. He goes, not that I'm going to do it, but I just, sometimes I'm like, hey, we're good. It's late night show. We're okay.
It's not, one, we've already told YouTube that we're not kid compliant.
Yeah.
But two, I was going to reply like we give a shit. But no, I get it. If you go on for ABC or wherever and want to have you on, you can't exactly just be dropping F-bombs left and right. But,
if an NFL Pro Bowler wants to come on our little show and drop a couple F-bombs, he's more than welcome to.
Yeah. My future brother-in-law does not really collect cards as a kid he did, and he's our age, Ben. He's a huge Broncos fan. He's like, I'm watching. He's like, that's my long snapper. I mean, he is diehard Broncos fan.
Yep.
So he's excited.
Our buddy Sandlot 408, the A's pin guy. If you ever watch an A's game, he's the guy out in left field. How he became an A's and Broncos fan, I don't know, but I got to let him know now too that hey, you got to listen next week because he's coming on the show. That's awesome. Yep. That's gonna be a fantastic show.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. He's an Iowa grad. He's a Hawkeye, so we're gonna talk a little bit about that collecting. He's also a teacher, so there's going to be a wide variety of questions.
Oh, and breaking news, at least it's breaking to Ben. There are now Target blister packs for Series 1 that have a green Decades Best green retail parallel now. So for anybody out there that collects inserts.
I go George Brett.
Yep, now there's green parallels.
I had everything I needed, and then that.
Yeah, I just saw somebody selling one with a McGuire on the front. It's like, now I got to go to Target tomorrow because I'm going to pack search, but they're visible on the front. They're visible on the front.
I'm still holding out for tins.
And then, hey, really quick, I forgot to tell you guys, this is also, too, I confirmed this. Bailey Joe, he put this question in the chat here, but he's going to be on the following week. So nice. A little bit of a new collector said that he's learned from us. So obviously we've done him some disservice, and but he wants to come on and he's like, hey, if you ever like somebody like me on the show, it's like, dude, perfect. There's a lot of people either getting into this hobby now or coming back to it and have no idea, and that's what we're here to do. And I think it's gonna be a great a great episode to have somebody on that's a newbie collector. But I look and I see like he gets it. He knows what's going on. And I know John earlier in the chat, I know if you guys caught this, he said he narrowed down after listening to the show, he narrowed down his collection and what he was looking for. He said, took your advice, guys, in regards to collecting. I've narrowed my PC to Young Guns, Dodgers, and baseball, basketball, base rookies. That right there, that's amazing because you're still getting a lot of sport, right? You're getting 3 sports, but you know what you want. And Colin from Sports Card Radio, his podcast this week was really about having a budget and knowing what to collect. Find your lane. You don't have to be constrained to that lane, but you also can go. It keeps you like focused on what you want to do, right? And that way you're not having to flip. You don't have to sell cards to pay mortgage and rent or fill up the gas tank. So
no, realistically, if you can't make $100 payment on something emergency, don't buy cards. Save up $100 first, and then
Or if you look and you have like you're checking your credit card balance and you have $22 and you're like, well, shit, I can get one more blaster in. You got a problem.
Put it down.
So put it down. Walk away.
Don't be a pack pervert.
The card you're looking for, look on eBay. You might be able to find it for $10.
Right. I mean, I can keep pulling it. I can keep pulling 2019 Topps Update all I want, but when I only need 4, I know that I'm practically wasting the money trying to pull them.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tim.
Yes. I'm gonna make sure that they're behind me here somewhere. And by the way, Rob Sports Cards making this hat.
Nice.
Make base cards great again. And I think that's what Young Guns do. I mean, I know they're quote a short print, but that's what it's about.
I've always taken to calling them shorter prints.
Yeah.
And that they're not super rare and they're part of the base set.
Yeah.
They're just shorter printed.
Now, speaking of really short printed stuff, Transcendent 4, that's what I'm going to call them, the Transcendent 4. Our buddy Phil Hughes tweeted this picture out last week from Phil's pulls, Together at Last. It's the 2019 Topps Transcendent rookies of Vlad Jr., Tatis Jr., Alonso, and Eloy.
The key 4.
Yeah, those are the 4 guys you want. It's the Superfractor 1-of-1s autographs. Now, Paul Thomas asked, who broke the seal on the Tatis? And Hughes comes back, some dummy who graded it. Fear not, I have my own stickers being made soon, and they'll all be matching. So some dum-dum, decided, hey, I'm going to bust out a Tatis 1-of-1 Transcendent card, and then I'm going to grade it. Like, why? And now Phil Hughes owns all of them. They look tremendous together.
Definitely.
He's got the funds to do that, but they look nice. And by the way, I like his little Phil's Pulls logo.
Right.
That's
with
cool.
the packs.
Yeah. Yeah. He if you haven't checked him out on YouTube, he opens a lot of stuff. It's interesting to see a recently retired major leaguer. I saw him opening a box at 18 Sapphire, and he pulled his own card.
Nice.
And then he looks at the card and he goes, "Oh yeah, throwing the curveball there." Like, dude, how cool is that? You're watching a guy bust packs like we do, and then he finds himself in there. So awesome.
Well, and I know a while back he was also doing a break of, I want to say it was either, I know that it was one of the other Topps or Bowman Heritage trying to pull his own auto. And I think he got an umpire's auto.
Yeah. And I also heard he's going to be in some kind of upcoming Topps product this year.
Unannounced.
Yeah.
What? But yes.
And we are trying to get him on the show if we can make that happen. If anybody else wants to help, let's make
tag in,
Phil
retweet.
Yeah.
Let's make a Phil show happen.
Yeah.
We know that he's at least popped into Periscope once.
Yeah.
To see the show.
Yeah. And I might have been able to send him a message, a note, mail him a note one time.
We will keep trying until we can get Phil on. That will be our 2020 mission. And honestly, speaking of, Bailey Joe and we want to try to get more people on in 2020, whether they are, industry experts or, 2019 Pro Bowlers, ex-Major League Baseball pitchers, or just regular old collectors like ourselves.
Or just Rich
Beckett
Klein.
Superstars.
Yeah.
Like
we
Ryan
need to get,
Cracknell, who's not been on since episode 12.
and you get Ryan back on.
Are we doing?
And we can have Uncle Rich on as long as he agrees to our new rule of not talking about the 85, 87 McGuires. He's welcome to come on whenever he would like.
Who made that rule?
I just
didn't hear it.
Oh.
2/3 majority.
2/3. Nope.
You sons of guns.
But then we also need to make sure Uncle Rich gets a nap or two in before. So
yeah, we need to get Korean Cardboard, our good buddy Dan. I mean, I wear his shirt on the show once in a while, and we need to get him on the show.
I go shirtless.
I mean, he made that awesome 1/1 for us with the Aaron Judge super short print.
yeah.
You got to buy the 5x7 in order to get all of our heads inside, though.
So we talked about Young Guns earlier, and our buddy Irving at Iden on Twitter asked
EYEDINH
what the Young Gun qualification is at Upper Deck Hockey and Upper Deck Sports. What is the official standard required for an NHL player to qualify for receiving a Young Guns rookie card? Do they have to have some actual on ice time, or is it merely suiting up for an official game enough?
And he was asking this because there was a
star that was
a Dallas star that was making his debut.
Yeah.
That was coming from overseas. I want to say Germany or something to that effect.
If you scroll down, his name's in like the next tweet or two. Jason Robertson. Yeah, and in Upper Deck Sports says goalies need to be addressed as backups. Players need actual ice time. So I guess goalies aren't considered players. Then remember, there are only 98 players who can be part of Series 1 and 2, and there are usually about 200 rookies that make their debut. So he also said about this guy, he might be a carryover for next year and be in Series 1 of next year's Young Guns if he's deemed qualified. 98 rookies, though, is so you're getting about half of the rookies that debut. So that's a pretty, that's, in baseball, 50, I think most all of them get a rookie, but that's a low number. That's why these Young Guns, it makes me just I'm working on building that set for this year. I'm just going to going forward. Hey, I think that's going to be my little hockey collection, because looking at the cards of photography, what they mean, and supporting base cards are awesome. And this is a good way for me to collect hockey and not collect, 300 cards if I can collect 100, or 400 cards, whatever it is, and I can collect 100 and I can feel good about it. So
that's what it was. His mother was born in Manila.
Okay.
And with Irving being of Vietnamese descent, he likes to chase the people from the Far East area.
You know what I love about this is that Upper Deck not only responded, but they were very clear and concise with their answer, so that people like myself who read that are completely 100% aware of
this is the rule.
What it takes to be a Young Gun.
And they respond in 12 minutes. Go back up, Steph. Can you roll up real quick on the screen there?
11:58, 12:35. So within an hour.
With a little over half hour.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, we've got a couple of new collectors, and obviously our new buddy John P had mentioned, he wants to collect some Young Guns. This tells you exactly what you need to know as a collector of what it takes to make it into that part of a particular release. Yep. Fantastic information, and it's right there for everybody to understand and use, as part of their collecting or not. Yep. But what's awesome is Upper Deck responded, and hey, I now know.
Yeah.
And knowing is happening.
Rob Sports Card, I wish I knew more about hockey, because some of those hockey cards are beautiful from Upper Deck. The same here, and that's kind of why I'm trying to learn, and I figured this is a way to ease in and figure it out and have some fun with it. It brings us to card pulls. They put out a tweet on one of their polls this last week about engagement. Do you think At Tops does a good job engaging with collectors on social media? There's 177 votes. 22% of the responders said yes. 77.4% said no. I agree. To be honest, in the last few months, the Topps account has not been what they were previously. And you might know a little reason why. Maybe somebody that was on our show this Sunday is not there anymore, and somebody else is maybe struggling with it. But I just think in general, a lot of these card companies aren't as active as they could be with collectors.
Yeah.
Between with the collectors or how they choose to engage. You know, it's easy enough to say, hey, here's the checklist. Hey, here's a box that we broke, and retweet like 2 or 3 people that tweet at you. But to do what Upper Deck just did, to actively reply and clarify, no less, what their stances are, what their rules are. Hey, here's some photos. They have their huge outreach program. It's not something that some of the other companies do well.
Well, and I can tell you this. I reached out. I said something. Somebody got a rack from Upper Deck a few weeks back, and I tweeted out a picture of my little buddy Ethan, and we went to National Hockey Card Day this last weekend and had some fun. But, you know, I said, hey, he's a young collector, 6, whatever. And they hit me up within minutes, sent me a DM. Hey, what's his address? We can get him out a rack, a surprise rack. Don't tell him. You know, we'll put something together.
And for those who don't know, that's where they just shoot you some random goodies, and
Dude, it was awesome.
they're yours.
He got a couple $100 worth of boxes. He got a bunch of swag stuff, like he was wearing his photometer,
lanyard, a shirt.
Yeah.
I need another one of those. Mine keeps breaking off my bag.
Yeah, he wore it to National Hockey Card Day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he's 6. He's kind of getting into it. He you know, and so these are the things that they do. And I have asked questions of Upper Decks, you know, before, and legit within their social media people, whoever's running those accounts is on it.
Phenomenal.
It's similar to ComC too. You hit up ComC on something, they're liking and retweeting things quite a bit, and it's like
James does a good job there.
There has to be somebody at Topps that's like, you really suck at your job. How hard is it to sit on Twitter? Like, your job is to sit on Twitter and Facebook, Instagram all day long. Like, can I have that job? Like, I'm doing a real job. Well, yeah. And then I'm also budging around on my phone all day with all these yahoos, which I love. And I'm staying just as more engaged. And, like, how? That's your job, and how are you not able to do it?
Well, I hit up Upper Deck last week, and I was like, just kind of joking around, right? Like, hey, how cool would it be if Tim and I, we live about 400 miles away from Upper Deck. I was like, how cool would it be if we drove down there on a Thursday night and knocked on your door Friday and hung out with you guys for a little while and did like a live on location? And they responded. They're like, hit up Chris Carlin, who's been on our show, and coordinate it. We'd love to have you down. You guys can come down and hang out with us on a Friday. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? I was like, little 10-year-old Ben's like, dude, I can't believe I'm talking to Upper Deck, right? They are, I'm sure they don't respond to everything, but they've got a very strong Twitter presence, social media presence. You'll ask some of the other ones, Topps or Panini, specifically about something related to a product,
Checklist.
And crickets. You know, hey, when we were wondering if the what was it, the Walgreens yellows were coming out for Series 2 last year, remember? And or was it Purple Myers? And it's nothing. They didn't give us anything. Why you wouldn't sit on there and retweet somebody like, hey, I just pulled a Topps, what's a what, right? And I'm proud of it, and I tagged Topps, retweet it. Get me excited about your product, because as Susie said on our show this past weekend, not every product is made for everyone. We know that you got to know that. So that's
you're not buying 3 cases of Transcendent, Ben?
I'm not, but I'm buying individual cards. And you know why I'm buying individual cards? Because I've seen them presented to me, and I want them. That's how you get excited. If you're not in the market for buying a box of triple threads, doesn't mean you can't go grab an autograph for $10 or $15 if that's your thing. But if you don't see them, how would you know? Unless you're out there doing a search. We just mentioned we have a couple of newer collectors in our chat room tonight with us. How are they supposed to decide what they want to collect if they're not shown this stuff? And Topps and Upper Deck and Panini, they should be showing hits as often as they can to get it in front of our faces. Why? That's how
and an organic way to show off your products, not just you and your social media manager coming up with, hey, we need to showcase these 5 cards, these product lines. We need to publish this checklist on Friday for this product. We need to do this. We need to do that. It's, hey, this person broke it. Here's what they actually pulled from a box.
It's organic. And guess what, folks? It's free. It's free advertising.
You know,
like 2 seconds to push retweet.
They legitimately should hire Topps Living Stat, because I guarantee he increases their sales by 5 or 6% every week.
I'm sure.
He might.
I'm sure. And you know, why they don't even follow him, I don't know.
It's they don't even tweet it out.
Yeah, you know, he is their biggest cheerleader, their biggest fan, and you know, he's been such a strong supporter of us individually as a good friend. He's been one of our first real supporters of our show back 2 years ago. Matt is a great dude, despite being a Cubs fan. Yeah, you know,
at least he's not a Yankees fan.
I don't know, but
maybe I'll have to reach out and see if they can't follow him.
Oh, bragger.
Yeah, but Topps Living Stat's great. Matt's been a great guy, despite the fact he trolls me every day. But he, you know, to just follow the guy, follow him, and yeah, you know, it's one of those things. Like, again, he's free advertising. Why wouldn't you want to support him? At least with a follow.
I mean, as long as you could verify who it's coming from, and I know that's part of their concern, and a concern that they've had in the past, where they don't necessarily agree with somebody, how they handle things, or they're overly aggressive online, or you know, they just post random pictures of things they shouldn't, like someone shared earlier today.
Hey,
Shep.
I just said don't follow that guy anymore.
Definitely. But you know, that's kind of hard to quickly vet when you're just hitting retweet, and I get that, or sharing on Facebook or whatnot. But as long as you can do that safely in 5 seconds, just scroll down someone's timeline, and shoot that out.
We did ask Suze. We did ask her, you know, is the reason that they're hesitant, and she's been in that position controlling that, you know, is because like that Twitter account that Tim follows that had inappropriate.
I don't follow it anymore. The reason being, he followed me, I followed him back. I scroll through my timeline today. I see something I don't want to see.
You saw where it ended and where it started.
Yeah.
But
I saw Groot, and I was like...
I asked her specifically, I said, is the reason you won't retweet is because if you retweet me, basically, are you endorsing everything on my timeline? And because I'm very combative and argumentative, you know, in that guy's case, he obviously had X-rated stuff. Is it one of those things that she's like, I don't think about that? And it's like, I guess you have to look at the retweet in a vacuum. It's just, hey, I got this new Top Series 1 camo parallel I was excited about. And they're harder to pull this year, as evidenced by Brent Williams, who pulled, 11 out of 92 cases. They're all numbered out of 25, so they shouldn't be that hard to pull. So I got a Liam Hendricks one today, and it was awesome because he took some pictures with Bentley at FanFest. And, hey, Topps, thanks for making this. It's going to be a great part of my collection. You can hit retweet on that tweet and not say, I endorse all the 50,000 tweets that came before this.
Right.
On that timeline. And she's like, I don't really care. You know, or I didn't when I was there. But I could see them being a little hesitant, especially with a new employee. But come on. They used to do giveaways all the time. They used to open up products on Facebook, and I'm sure Periscope, and give away the hits.
And not even just talking to Rip Girls.
Yeah, you used to get excited about it, just like our friend Chris Olds used to do on the Beckett one. You know, it's why not get people excited by saying, hey, I'm going to open up a box of Heritage this week, and all the hits are going to go to you. All the base cards are going to go to you. We're going to give away all
random off.
Beckett doesn't do that anymore, man. They would sit down and bust. Oh, man, those are some of my favorite videos. Yeah. That's how I got into 2012 Bowman.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Leaf cuts the Mick. Poor Mick.
So I'll kind of lead off on that one. Write down something here real quick. But
I want to hit up the tweet real quick.
Yep.
At Cardboard Icons are the best bit on the internet. Oh man, this hurts to see. Even if Topps was doing this, I'd have the same reaction. I hate cut auto cards that are made from auto cards, period. Even when Fleer cannibalizes its own cards for new releases.
And here's
This
the
is
picture. And the reason I bring it up, this came through our work, and more specifically, Angela put this into the system. And it came in because we were looking, it came in through one of our lines, and she just happened to be the person who got this in her set. And she goes, well, okay, how do I handle the fact that it's encased? Well, you do this, this, that, the other, and there, it's encased. But three things. One, it's autographed, so you have to put that in. Two, you have Mickey Mantle as a player and Ken Griffey Jr. as a player, despite the fact that the tag says Joe DiMaggio.
I didn't even
And
catch
three,
that.
it's a 1 of 1. So Angela puts that in, and then just like 12 hours later, Cardboard Icon's talking about it. But yeah, no. So our thought was that this was some Upper Deck promo because Ken Griffey and briefly Mickey Mantle was associated with them in the early 90s. But even assuming that this is a legit card, why would you chop it up?
Because you're Leaf, and you think that Joe DiMaggio looks like Ken Griffey Jr.
I mean,
and you got a big fat chucklehead running the company that is making these cards, as Ben once said, like in the back of the trunk of his car.
No, it was funny as I was talking to somebody on Facebook this week about GMA, and I was like, that dude grades cards out of his garage, and one guy's like, that's the best description of GMA I've ever heard. And I'm like,
well, you guys remember, was it last week we saw a card from BSG
yep.
grading service? Big Ship Grading Service. I got
like,
my own grading company. Dude,
well,
a pickup truck.
It cracked me up because somebody in the Facebook comments was like, listen, man, I've seen some 8s and 9s out of GMA lately. I'm like, there was an episode of Saved by the Bell when Mr. Belding's younger brother came and taught a class, and he literally told all the students, give yourself a grade that you think you deserve. And Screech is like, well, my mind says A, but my heart says A, but my mind says B plus. And they're like, you're an idiot if you give yourself a B plus. And I'm like, that's what I think of a GMA. If you send something to GMA and you say you get an 8, you're an idiot. I mean, literally, he grades it whatever you say. All my cards are 11s out of 10. Every one of them.
Somebody asked in the chat here, once the cup here said, hey, what's with the white marks? Yeah, Steph, I think that's paper loss.
Yeah, paper loss. Either it got stuck. I mean, if you're going to cut up a Mickey Mantle auto and I'm going to do some research and find this card or the promo or whatever it's from, but if you're going to cut it up, at least use one that has paper loss, I guess. I mean that's like its only saving grace.
Yeah.
Could they have not cut it a little closer to the bottom M?
It's right on that. And I mean, it would have to depend on what this is from, if it's a postcard or if it's just a...
I was going to say on the jersey, a little lower on the jersey to get a little bit more of the hat in the picture. So
yeah, definitely could.
No, the logos.
That's
you could. Well, yeah, you couldn't get quite that high.
Yeah, they could. Leaf couldn't do this because they put it on in a Leaf card. So they're saying this is a Leaf card. It's not like they bought the original. They didn't put the original card in there, like they do, like Best of Leaf or whatever.
Right.
So that's why they couldn't have the logos, and that's why the hats are missing.
So
I want Brian on the show so we can ask him why he's fake news.
This is ridiculous. Pull up my screen again, Tim. So there's an app on your computer, most Windows computers, that has a snipping tool. Pop it up, push a button, and you can just drag and drop what you want for a screenshot. In this case, I guess you guys can't see it, but that's what I pulled. And that's cutting out the paper loss. It's right against that autograph.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's just goofball card.
Hey, what do you expect for a Joe DiMaggio?
Yeah. The Topps conference is next week. We talked about this in a previous episode, but it runs Sunday through Tuesday in Chandler, Arizona.
That's not Dallas.
Yep. They're going to learn. They're going to have best practices, expand your industry knowledge, and grow current successes. They're going to have sports and entertainment industry experts from Major League Baseball, WWE, Star Wars, and soccer properties. They're going to have guest speakers to teach sustainable growth, special appearances, off-site activities, and a Q&A with the Topps execs. It's one hell of a group right there. What do you hope? I know, I think Mojo's going. A few other big-time guys are going down. So I know we're going to get some Dan and Doug feedback, which is going to be the best next week on their show, The Hype. But what do you hope comes out of this conference? What are you hoping to hear?
So they do a decent enough job at promoting their sport products. They usually use something like this or Comic-Con to launch their non-sport stuff. And I'm kind of hoping to hear more about those product lines from this. And see, well, with, in particular, The Mandalorian. I know they've had a card of his card from the series in the top Star Wars Living product, but I have a feeling that there's going to be a Journey to the Mandalorian set coming out, or something to that effect, maybe announced to have the kid / Baby Yoda.
Ben, are you expecting to have anything awesome come out of this?
Nothing that's not expected already. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what is said, but as far as what we're anticipating, I think it's just going to be more of the same old blah, blah, rhetoric crap that we've heard in years past. Just like, hey, let's pat ourselves on the back real quick and say how awesome we're going to be and how awesome all of our new, yada, yada products are going to be.
Well, they are going to have Santa Hat relics again. I saw that from Cubs spring training. Thanks,
yeah.
Schwarber. A few years ago, they broke away from the quote industry summit well, it was a standalone thing, right? Then Beckett bought it, and then it was moved from Vegas to Dallas, and then no one went, and then except for Panini, and I think Leaf went, but they've been in and out, and Upper Deck won't go, and now Topps isn't going, and it went back to Vegas. So basically, it's a Panini industry summit. All the Dallas boys getting together, hanging out. I think either I know Upper Deck does something. They did something recently. Topps is doing theirs. Then you have the industry summit. So you have these 3 different things going on.
Plus the national.
And it's like, why can't they all just get along and go back to have the industry summit all together? It's goofy to me. Either have it all together or don't have it and just do something, do all your stuff at the national. Right?
Common sense.
Anyway, there's a class action lawsuit filed against PSA, PWCC, and Probstein, 3 of our faves. Sports Card News broke this. I think it was Thursday. They put out an article. Paul Lesko sent out a series of tweets. I think Thursday of last week or Friday of last week. Let me look. But we're going to go through some of those to kind of explain what it is. He did it on his lunchtime. It was on Thursday of last week. So here we go. So a couple of insights into Savoy's lawsuit. Eric Savoy is the guy that's doing this against Collectors Universe, PWCC, PSA, Probstein, etc. First, Savoy's complaint provides the recourse it seeks in the lawsuit. Second, Savoy alleges PSA will not grade altered cards on its 1 to 10 scale. Logically follows then that by grading altered cards, PSA cards out as unaltered. So basically they don't list them as altered and saying that they, even though if they are. Basically Savoy's argument against PSA breaks down to 3 things. Users of PSA rely on PSA to follow its own rules. If PSA followed its rules, it would not have graded altered cards. Therefore, if users of PSA have graded and altered cards, they should receive some compensation. It goes on to say his case against PWCC is similar, basically alleging PWCC allegedly advises buyers that altered assets cannot be sold. So again, if users buy PWCC an altered asset, they should be entitled to some kind of compensation. Because they say you shouldn't buy altered cards, but we're selling them, so then they should have compensation. The case against Probstein is nowhere near as fleshed out as the other cases against PSA and PWCC. Basically, they're all allegations. He brings a number of actions against the defendants, including claims for consumer fraud, breach of warranty, negligent misrep, etc., and a RICO claim, basically that the defendants work together as a criminal conspiracy. He also alleges there's a number of John Doe plaintiffs that he hopes to identify throughout the litigation. Lesko's initial thought was pleading fraud claims is difficult, and Savoy might have to meet the standard for pleading for PSA and PWCC, but the Probstein claims seem a little bare. It wouldn't shock me if Probstein escapes, at least on some of the claims, on a motion to dismiss. So what's saying is that PSA and PWCC are selling and grading cards that don't follow rules that they've set. The dummy at PWCC even got on that Dum Dum's podcast that talks like this and was just, what do you want me to say so I could be your mouthpiece, and said, hey, yeah, we alter. It's like art. Somebody does a touch up on the Mona Lisa, you're not going to say it's not worth it, but they're not telling you that they did touch ups on the cards, right? So,
hey Tim, real quick.
Yeah.
Someone just kind of snuck in and sent me a message. Look familiar?
Yes.
So what he's showing is the mantle Griffey for anybody that might be listening and doesn't see the visual. He's showing the leaf card. What was that from Trading Card Database?
Yep. Yeah. TCDB.
It was a 94 upper deck, MM1, Mickey Mantle, auto, New York Yankees.
Yeah, as far as the lawsuit, there's no way he proves a RICO case. I mean, he would have to have a tremendous amount of discovery and proof, like solid, hardcore proof as to.
But these other claims, right? These other claims saying that, hey, yeah, we don't grade altered cards. Hey, we don't sell altered cards. Well, hey, assholes. Well, there's a lot of proof that says you did both.
No, yeah, I mean, I could totally see this thing being settled, but we'd have to go back to Paul Lesko. Maybe we should reach out and see if we can get Paul on the show soon. I know we got guests the next 2 weeks, but I know Paul
I think
said
that should be a Sunday show. We should talk about that because I think having that as a standalone conversation would be the best.
There's a whole lot to unpack here, and it would definitely be cool to have him on.
In fact, it wouldn't be a bad idea maybe to have a call-in show for anybody that wants to talk to him that week. They might have questions or to any of the lawsuits, but it'd definitely be something where maybe we can try to see if we can get Paul on in the next 4 to 6 weeks. My first question was, I mean, seriously, a RICO case, can they prove that? I don't think so. But some of the other claims, I do think he's right. I don't think that there's going to be enough against Rick Probstein. But it wouldn't surprise me if the other two get caught with their pants down.
And I hope so.
To what degree?
Stop doing it. Stop using them. Stop buying from them. Stop grading with them. I think Beckett came out and said this last week. The tweet disappeared. I tried to find it again. That story, right? That somebody sent the DMs. Hey, there's no longer a timeline on grading. We're just going to grade cards and send them back when we can. I know PSA came out and said they have a 1 million card backlog. What are you idiots doing? Like, I understand, hey, graded cards are cool because they're authentic. They encapsulate all that fun stuff. It's cool to have black labels and 9s and 10s and all this stuff. I'm looking up right now and I have my PSA collection of Brett's up here. I'm not sending the cards to them. I bought all these second, but we have to it's got to stop so we can figure out what is going on. I mean, you see this stuff, it's mind-boggling, and just people don't know, and it's not out there, and they just keep.
So, for what it's worth, I went to Beckett.com to try to find it, and it's literally a pop-up announcement. Beckett announces changes in grading turnaround times.
There you go.
Actually, I'll dump that in the chat here.
Yeah, maybe I had a bad link. But yeah, Beckett Grading Service announced today, beginning February 19th, 2020, submissions received will no longer have a guaranteed turnaround time. Instead, the turnaround times will become estimated times based on the service level selected. Here's the official statement from BGS. So, yep. Let's move on to something fun. You guys ever watch Seinfeld?
I'm looking forward to it coming to Netflix.
You remember Spongeworthy?
No, I've never seen the show.
Well, it was a ladies.
What's Seinfeld?
Ladies' protective device. Anyway, so Black Squirrel at B Squirrel 1 tweeted out, which cards from 2020 Top Series 1 are sleeve worthy this year? He said there's 7 from Series 1, 7 rookies. They go from pack to penny for him. Alvarez, Bichette, Lux, Aquino, May, and McKay. I want to know, guys, who are your sleeve-worthy cards when you pull them out of a pack? Veterans, rookies. What are you sleeving up when you open a pack?
Usually, all of the rookies, anybody with a rookie cup or a major name, so like Mike Trouts or Acuna or people of those stature, the top 5, 10, 15 younger guys under 30, say. And then all of my twins. If it's not a major set that I have bindered already, then they go in the binder. Top loaders just depends, like the top 2 or 3 rookies. So this year, the only ones I've done is what's his name, Luzardo and Lux.
What cards? Any card sleeve were there for you, Ben?
No, Black Squirrel's a good dude. He hits me up all the time and asks me about ace cards. I would defer to his expertise and others because I don't open enough product. But yeah, I would think that, like Steph said, Luzardo might be one that he missed. I mean, AJ Puck maybe, but you're talking about the ones that are going to have a long-term resale value or long-term interest. And I would think outside of those ones, if May makes the list, I think Luzardo has to make the list too. Maybe even Puck, but hey, look at there. There's a response. There's a response by me.
Some homer picks. No, I pretty much am with Steph rookies and some of the big stars, and let's just be honest. Like I've bought 300,000 penny sleeves in the last year.
Just for yourself, no less.
Just for myself. Now I do penny sleeve all the cards in my quarter boxes.
Right.
So that was a big part of it. Because I want people to the cards to be protected and people know when they take them home. But no, I penny sleeve the holy bejesus out of stuff. Love them.
So when are you gonna come over and help me?
Yeah, top load worthy. The key rookies I'll do whenever I have a box now because I've really kind of limited my collection, only keeping rookie cards if they're not Royals or Giants part of that collection. I just keep the rookie cards. So. All those get top loaded, if not one touched. Some of those special ones get one touched. Sometimes I touch it more than once, but that's just me. I thought it was an awesome question because it really is. Because I remember as a kid, man, if you had something penny sleeved or top loaded or in a card saver, or in a mag, or if you had it in a screw down, you're like.
No, it's funny. I had a star box growing up, right? Late 80s. I don't know if you did too, Tim, where you had all your stars and your semi-stars. Shout out to Tony Fernandez because he would have been in my star box at that time, late 80s. He would have been a guy that you would have went to a show and people would have searched for in a box. And so I think that's where Black Squirrel is going with that. And I think you can expand that list probably to just about all of the rookies, honestly. Because there are going to be certain people that are going to be searching for even a guy like on the A's, Seth Brown, who's a lower
pop later. Yeah,
Seth Brown's 27. He came up and had a lot of doubles last year, and he's probably not. He's not a prospect anymore, and he's probably not doesn't have a lot of appreciation.
You penny sleeve Bubba Starling. Let's do that. Let's be honest.
But you would, yeah, absolutely. You would put him in 1996, right? When was your first round pick? 86?
I don't even know.
But yeah, I think what Black Squirrel's getting at is, as you're going through it, which guys do you automatically stick in that quote unquote pile? Those penny sleevers, and I think you would have to expand that list to pretty much all of the rookies, if that's your bag, if that's your thing. It's a set of
and John asked, I penny sleeve base cards, yeah, definitely. Not all, but the rookies are the key guys there, and I think that you never know, especially update or something where with the rookies, and the reason I do that is because you don't want to be the guy that busted a bunch of 11 update and you didn't know who Mike Trout was at the time and you threw him in a box and you go back years later and you've moved the box and now you got a bunch of dinged corner Mike Trout rookies and then you just want to sit in the corner and cry. Sure. Take the time to put the 0.5 cent penny sleeve on the card. So if you buy them in bulk, I mean, if they're not super duper expensive, you need a hookup, hit me up. I'll take care of you. I got a great deal. For
Definitely
anybody
does.
looking for penny sleeves for sure.
Well, and I think too, it matters whether it's a newer product or if it's vintage. Not that I'm collecting it, but any, say, earlier than 1980 cards, I'm all penny sleeving all of those.
Yep. And then any chrome cards, like Bowman's first chrome.
2010 chrome was horrible.
Dude, just penny sleeve the first Bowman chrome card. All those chrome cards in Bowman that you pull and say like Topps Chrome or Finest, just because you never know, especially Bowman, like 6 years from now, that guy could come up because he was 16 and all of a sudden now he's like the superstar and you don't want to have scratches all over the front of your card when you could have put it in a half cent.
And ending up looking like a swing seat where it's curved that much.
What was that Topps Chrome? Was it 2010 Topps Chrome?
Yeah.
That turned to a seat. You open the pack and the card just went.
Not even in the pack.
Yeah,
the pack is shit.
That was the worst year. So we were gonna have this last week. At Checklist for Us had a great question. Their group breakchecklist.com. Yep. LCS versus breakers. We just didn't get to it. Do you believe that group breaking niche industry is the root cause for closures of sports card stores? Let's say any closures in the last 5 years. There were almost 700 voters, of which 39% said yes, 60% said no. I don't believe that to be the case. I think that it's the margins, because paying for retail space, and especially like a state like California, is very expensive per square foot. You have to have somebody there, even all hours of the day, every day of the week, because you don't know if someone's going to come in or not. And a lot of collectors have jobs and they are working, so they're not available until the evening. But you don't want to be open 24 hours a day, where breakers have that ability. My store is open 24 hours and we're online. And there's a lot more avenues to sell online now than maybe there were 15, 20 years ago. What are your guys' thoughts?
I would hope that if the shop is looking to stay in business, they adopt not necessarily a 100% group breaking mentality, but that they have it available where, hey, we have this box going on if you want to open it and you don't necessarily want to bust the box yourself. Hey, do you want the Rangers or whatever? Well, here's our rate for that.
Yeah. So Ben, do you have a thought?
So the key word there is root cause. Is it the root cause? No, absolutely not. The root cause is eBay and online sales, because those are coming out of, you're not going to your LCS. The reason I stopped going to LCSs all the time was because they couldn't offer me anything, because I'm already buying it right as it drops in real time. The LCS can't get it into their shelf fast enough for so many of us. They can't keep, a lot of it's stale, stagnant product. By the time you go there, you've already picked up what you want, if they even had it ever to begin with. I think Group Breakers is a one-off, because that's how a lot of people are getting them and accumulating their cards in bulk. That's where they're spending a considerable amount of their money, but I don't think it's the root cause. eBay, ComC, Sportlots, those are the root cause, specifically eBay. Secondary would be Group Breakers. Third would be places like Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook groups.
So, I would argue that to that, not adapting to what people want.
Changing the market, yeah.
But can they as quick? Because again, on eBay, ComC, Sportlots, I am literally, as a buyer, right? Because we were only talking about it as a consumer. I can go to any of these websites at any time, right? I could have multiple browsers open right now. eBay in one, Beckett Marketplace in another, ComC. And I've got eBay open right now. But I could have all of them open as I'm searching for a specific card without ever even so much as calling my LCS and seeing if they've got one. The brick and mortar is not set up to compete with the fluidity and the real-time movement of online sales, whether it's through social media or through private retailers that are online, they can't compete, because when I go into the LCS and I'm asking for whatever it is, I want Gavin Lux rookie cards and Bo Bichette rookie cards and Vlad Guerrero, they're going to have a finite amount, right? Well, that's because they're one brick and mortar. eBay's got hundreds or thousands of sellers that can offer me all of those players all in one confined space.
And I think we're lucky here with the LCS we have with Teammates, where they got bought out 5 years ago now, and they've made the change of hey, our wax prices are better, just as good or better than Blowout and Dave and Adams, and you don't have to pay shipping or wait for the cards to get here. Come see us. They have packs at all times. They constantly are buying and filling quarter and dollar boxes at all times. They have a good selection of vintage, and they have the local teams, and they're always looking for those. A good question and thing that was brought up in the chat. So Kevin Jones said, "You're better off buying lotto scratchers than paying into a group break." And then Doug A comes back and says, "You could also say that about opening your own wax too." My whole thing with this is that when you buy into a break or you buy into a box, what are you expecting? What are your expectations?
Right.
I think people always believe that I'm going to buy this $200 box of wax, and I'm going to pull the hottest, newest rookie, the lowest number, the parallel, and I'm going to get 2 of them in that box. When that is not the case, that is the one-off when that happens. And the same with the group break. I think group breaks are great if you're a team guy and you want to go and say, hey, Series 1 came out. I can buy in a case of Series 1. I can get 6 jumbo boxes worth. So I can get like 6 team sets plus maybe a hit or 2. You know, if I get 1, that's awesome. If I get 2, that's even better. You're going to get the inserts. Like, you're going to be able to and get it at a reasonably good price. Now, if your thought is, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to get all the Yordan Alvarez rookie cards, and, you know, you get the 6 base, but you don't hit any autographs, and you spent a few $100s, you're going to be disappointed. If you want the autograph, just take that money and wait and go buy the damn thing on eBay.
Right.
Yeah. Mojo Break was talking on one of the recent podcasts. This guy, it was Colin Turk, was talking about this guy that said, hey, with the money I just spent in breaks, I could have bought a LeBron rookie card, and I could have bought a Jordan auto. And all I have is an autographed football and some base cards.
Yeah.
Well, hey, dum-dum, if you knew you wanted those cards, why didn't you just go buy them? Why did you hop into all these breaks? But guess what? This same guy would have said, holy crap, look at all the stuff I got, and I only paid $400 to get in this break, and I got me a $20,000 Zion. Woohoo!
So to follow up to Kevin's point real quick, because you basically made my point, Tim, where it's great to just extrapolate. Yeah, I would contest that. Yeah, it's basically just, it's where it's really good is like last year for Panini. I forget if it was Donruss that I got into, one of the Donruss products. First off, big breakers like Brent Williams don't touch that product, so I can't go to a private seller and say, hey, I need the A's team set. I bought into the break for like $20. And the way I had to look at the checklist was, what am I actually spending this $20 on? The team set is valued at what for me? And if I have to go buy these 6 cards individually at $2 a piece, it's going to be $12. If I can grab them from somebody like TNT or somebody, right? And then to get them here is maybe another $2. So $14 is my hard cost for the team set plus some inserts. If I can get my team set, which I'm pretty much guaranteed with the amount of boxes being open in the break, maybe get most of the inserts. And if I could just get one hit, which I don't even need, but if I could get one hit, I've at least covered my cost of $20. If I don't get any hits, as long as I get the base set, I think I'm 60-70% getting my money back anyway. And that extra couple of bucks for me.
You don't have to worry about it. You have it, and you're like, there it is. I can fill in the rest later.
And if I get something, and I ended up hitting a Laureano auto and 1 or 2 other autos. So I got 3 autos plus the inserts. So I probably got $50 worth of value, which I don't expect every time. But the way you have to look at it is, what are you anticipating getting back? For me, it was the team set. And I had to value the team set at X if I'm buying it individually, knowing going in, I'm getting it out of the break. Anything else I get as a bonus, and it kind of buys down that gap.
It feels better.
And and it's fun. Yeah, it's opening up a retail blaster type thing. And I'm still getting all the cards I know I want, plus some of the ones I hope I'm going to get.
And this is the thing, the same thing you bring up retail, the same thing when people go and buy a blaster and they don't get what superstar they were looking for. Why are you complaining?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
You know what you wanted. Why didn't you just go buy it directly? I know it's not as fun as pulling it out of a pack, but damn it, it saved a lot of hassle and heartache and sadness. And anyway, it's just people are stupid. And
in a group break, you're not pulling it out of a pack.
Yeah.
If you're in a group break, love Doug and Dan, love them to death, right? Doug and Dan are pulling it out of the pack for you. They're opening it, right? So you're not even getting that feel of let me open it and that feel of the cards in your hand as you're one by one by one. Ooh, this is what I pulled. You're not getting it. You're watching it on video. Yeah, it's coming home to you. But that case is, what's the difference between that and Tim, you've listed the card on eBay and I'm going to buy it from you. The only difference is I didn't see you take it out of the pack.
I was pumped when I bought those 2 Young Guns today, and I didn't open them. I'm super excited, but that's just me. I'm excited because I'm a nerd. But so this kind of brings into it. You can't have it both ways. So at Cheap Fun Breaks, who I think it's Houdini who breaks on Blowouts Breaker, he said everyone wants MSRP or pre-release prices when a product goes up. But if that product went down, they would want the market price. And it isn't fair that they can't have it both ways. It isn't that the product went up that makes them mad. It's that they weren't the ones that made the money. And this folds back into Optic, right? Everybody's freaked out because they couldn't get Optic, or even like Prism this year. And here's the quote. And it's like, yeah, I want to be the one that buys it cheap and sells it for more. I don't want to be the guy that's buying it for more. So
you want to be Robbie.
This isn't fair. This isn't fair to me. Save some for the kids. Save them for the kids. The kids don't get any.
What's funny is when I saw that tweet, because you shared it to go on the show notes, right? And I think my comment in our private DM was, like, I'm like looking at my phone, reading it, thinking, did I write this tweet under their handle? Because it's something I would have written.
Yeah.
It's like I couldn't have agreed with it more because it literally sounded like it was off of my tongue.
Power to you. If you can get wax and you can make money on it, power to you. Awesome. Enjoy it. I don't care. I'm not going to pay $450 for a box of Optic. Like I said earlier in previous shows, the only way I was buying Prism this year is if I found it at retail. I found a bunch of it, had a lot of fun, sold some cards, made some money. It was a good time for me. But I wasn't pissed off that I haven't seen Optic at all. Because guess what? I'm not gonna open it and pay those prices.
Right. I see. My argument for this would have been that, just as they said, I'm not going to hold that against them. If, hey, this is the price we got, and yeah, sure, demand, we got to raise the price. My complaint would have been if they'd done anything market manipulation wise, where, hey, we know this is jacked up, so sorry you guys lose out on allocation, and we're going to have to drop you down to the such and such, knowing that they can jack the price.
So I got a little, God, Steph, I didn't want to talk about it. You needled me here. So I have a deal with a distributor that I really like, and they've been good to me. And I'm not Mr. Moneybags, and I'm not going and buying cases of everything, nor would I.
Sure.
I put in pre-orders for stuff that I think I can open and turn around, and I can collect some and then sell the rest to pay for what I kept. If I break even, I'm happy. If I lose $100, I'm happy because guess what? I have a pile of stuff I got to keep. Yep. Plus, I got the fun of opening the packs and sharing it and talking about it, getting that experience. And to me, that experience is worth a couple $100.
And sharing it with people who want whatever you broke.
And so I was able to get a case of Jumbo and Hobby Series 1. Okay, and it was a shock to me that I got that much. But I was like, okay, and because I haven't bought a ton of wax from them, because when I got the hookup with the distributor, most of the stuff I wanted the pre-sales had already gone through because they do it in such an advance.
Yep.
So Series 2 comes out, I do the same thing. And usually you have to buy two hobby boxes to get a jumbo box, which is basically case for case. And so that's what I did again. They came back and they closed it out, and I got one box of each of Series 2. And so I emailed my guy and said, what happened with Series 2? And I understand that now we think, Luis Robert is going to be in there, and there's a handful of other rookies that Joe Adele might be in there. Who knows? These guys that debut early on might be in Series 2. And it came back, well, we're really restricted on this one. And I'm like, dude, it's flagship baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they're holding back, saying, hey, we got to hold this back because we know that we can have our pre-release and pre-order these, and we're going to get our stuff, but when the second wave comes or people come back to reorder, that's when we're going to get you, because your hobby box was $50 before. Now guess what? That hobby box is $90 because these guys are in it. And it just pissed me off. I was able to go a couple other places and get a case of each, and I was able to I would maybe paid $100 and so more than I would have liked, but hey, that's okay. I'm gonna have it. So that's where it starts, and that's where a lot of the problem is I think the distributors have so much say in this, instead of it going direct from the companies out to everybody. That's a bigger topic. So it's just very interesting, and don't spend beyond your means or without, and have an idea on a budget. We were going to talk about this last week too. Off the mark, Brian from Montana at card_A_holic sent in 30 Prism basketball cards and received one variation that were off-centered and got this load of crap. So he had this.
Why?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to read the letter, but I said he went through and he basically sent these cards back to Panini and said, hey, listen, they're damaged, and they came back with a letter that basically said, like, hey, no, we don't see that there's any major damage, maybe any major damage to the cards, yada yada. There's nothing we can do. And so it was super, like, he followed up with a tweet, said, I said off-center, maybe misprint, because what it was is where they were stamped wasn't correct. They were off. The outline of the player and the RC logo were off, and all the cards were high numbers, 200 plus, and there were a bunch of rookies. Actually, I have a link to the letter here. The letter says, we do apologize for that your card is damaged. Unfortunately, we're not able to always replace every card. There are certain constraints that pertain to each and every card that we produce due to the low number of replacement inventory and sometimes condition-sensitive nature of a product or brand. We are not able to replace every item. In the case of your damaged card, we are unable to replace it like for like and are returning the card or cards to you. We apologize that we were unable to repair or replace the damaged item or items. Below is your listed reason or your card or cards may have been shipped back to you. Thank you for understanding and your continued support of our products. Regards, customer service. And it says the card has minimal damage. Well, if Steph can,
I got one of the pictures here.
Yeah, so you see, like, it's Hachimura, and the imprint of his head and the rookie logo, they're off by a good amount. Where you can see it was stamped but printed incorrectly. So it looks like he's got like a
halo around his head, yeah.
Around his head, yeah. So it doesn't look good. And that's a popular card in Prism. And to have a response where it was dude, that was a form letter, my friend. Because it said card or cards and, damaged or card or cards, and it was like, dude, like, that's a joke. That's a joke to me. Maybe you can't replace that one card because Prism was so hot and they sold everything they had. But hook the guy up with something. Give him some Panini points. Anyway, I wanted to bring that up. I just wanted to bring up some bad customer service.
Buy some Leaf buyback cards, which aren't really worth anything, and give them those. I mean, at least it makes them feel good.
I ran a poll this last week. Favorite supply. What is your favorite baseball card supply? I put out top loader, one touch, box, or binder page. We had 118 votes, with box getting 12.7%, binder page and one touch coming in at 19.5%, and top loader 48.3%. Guys, what's your favorite baseball card supply? One you cannot live without.
Currently, Pages.
Love Pages.
I'm converting from 5,000 count monster boxes to binders. So
if you guys need Pages,
I do.
I'm your Huckleberry.
Angela's actually talking about wanting to page all of her Ellen and Ginter sets because we got a good amount of 06, and I think we have the complete base sets anyway from 07 to like 12.
Yeah.
I did the math, and it's like 15 years worth of Ellen and Ginter to this year, and she's going to need 600 pages.
That's not
it's
bad.
How many years?
600?
Because Ginter started in 07.
That's 6 boxes.
07, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I guess if you count this year.
I have almost every baseball and football set from 70 in baseball and 80 in football from Topps, all binder and page. Let me tell you, once I was able to get some hookup on Pages, that helped. So let me know. I will pass on the goodness that I have to you. The shipping is going to be the thing, but we can work it out and get them to you. So let your brother know. I'll take care of you on that. Ben, what's your favorite supply?
It's got to be Pages. I put everything in Pages, including relics, because you can get loose pages that fit thicker cards. I don't
want to know about loose pages, you pack pervert.
Hey-o. No,
pack pervert.
I throw penny sleeves away. I throw top loaders away because I just have no use for them anymore. I've got so many of them in my garage. If my wife knew how many I had, she would start dumping out.
Have them shipped to Dallas.
I'm actually going to take some to the next show, I think, and if Tim has some space for me, I'll throw them on the floor. And somebody wants.
What you need to do is put them in a large flat rate, fill it up, because the large flat rate's like $18 to ship, and tell somebody, hey, you can have this for $20. I guarantee someone will buy it.
Yeah, I'm not shipping them out if it's costing me anything because
but I'm saying if you say you can have all you make $2 off of it.
Yeah.
Buy yourself a Red Bull and have a good time. My favorite is Pages, as well. But I want to say one and Top Loader is pretty there. But one touches are coming up for me because in the last few years I've really had some fun with some one touches.
I bet you have. Whoa.
Sometimes two touch. This was somebody had somebody out on Twitter, and I don't remember who it was. Put out last week. Put best MLB team power couple.
It was that clown Dan Brown.
We don't have to say who it is.
That guy's a knucklehead.
We don't have to say.
He deserves to get called out for being an idiot.
So Steph put 2 because he went Ben and couldn't pick one, but I like it. So give me a homer pick. So Steph's going to give us a Twins combo. Ben's definitely going to give us an A's combo.
Triple.
And I'm going to do a Royals combo. And then just any other major league team, their teammates, because Steph's first 2 weren't teammates. They were just guys that played.
Because he didn't address that he wanted only from the
same
team.
It says MLB team power couple.
Yeah, I added that. Nice try.
Well, that's what the notes say. So, Steph, who is your homer pick for best team power couple?
Sure. This is a photo from last year.
Are they still on the
2
team?
rooks. As it slowly loads. You got Cheech and Chong there. Arise and Astudillo.
So Steph and Arise.
Yep. Because one, Astudillo is just an amazing, not necessarily the greatest player.
He's handsome.
But it's just one of those huge personality guys. And I think Arise, much like Baseball Prospectus, has him slated to win the batting title this year. I think he has the talent to win 1 or 2, 3 maybe in years come. Torrey Hunter said that with his plate discipline, he has an outside shot at 3K if he stays healthy.
That's nice. So who's your MLB power couple? Not a homer pick.
I'd initially said Trout and Harper just because, that I didn't know you wanted them all on the same team, but no, Trout and Adele. Young and old, younger and slightly young.
Okay.
Because you can't go wrong with Trout.
Yeah. Benny, who's your homer pick?
First off, I was pissed off, and a lot of people were, that he didn't put Chapman and Olsen on the list because he listed like 10 different couples, right? So Chapman and Olsen has to be on there. And honestly,
sorry to interrupt. Chapman printing plate. Just put one in today.
Nice. Send me the link because I might be interested. But Chapman and Olsen at least have to be in the conversation at some point. They're both, Gold Glove winners on the ends. They're both power hitters. Anyhow, they should at least be in the conversation. If you're listing 10, list 11. You have plenty of characters left. I'm with Steph on the Angels, but I don't think Adele is the guy. He might not even play much this year. But Rendon is one of the top stars in the game as well. And now that he's coupled with Trout, it would be hard to find a power couple better than Trout and Rendon. Just if we're just counting the top 2 players from every team, all 30 teams, that's got to be the best. It's going to be hard to find 2 that are better.
That's interesting. We all went Angels on the non-homer team. I went Trout and Shohei. I'm telling you,
because they're the Hearts.
Yeah. My homer pick, Salvi Perez and Alex Gordon, just because they are the 2 left over from the World Series teams. They've been there. They built that up, and hopefully they can teach the next generation of Royals what it's like to live that Royal life, get back to the series. We have a Vintage Breaks $50 gift card giveaway. Now, it's because we're accepting any of our Twitter followers, and then the subscribers from YouTube, and then anybody that's left us a review on iTunes since last week. Those are going to get 2 entries, so you can have a possible of 4 entries. I'm just going to run the list, but I wanted to give the show. I wanted to be on the show again and tell everybody this. So we're going to run this on Friday morning. I'll do a live video of random.org.
Cruz Sano, good option.
We'll put everybody in there. Yeah, Nelson Cruz and Miguel Sano, the twins. That's a nice one. You also could put Cruz and Donaldson now, right?
Yep. Sano and Rain.
Yeah. I like that. That should be a car like Black and Decker.
Right.
Or blue and black and blue. So do those things. If you leave a review on iTunes, that's 2 entries. If you're already following us on Twitter or YouTube, you're good. But if you're not, do those 2 things. That's going to get you 4. They have that Mickey Mantle ball they're giving away. So we're trying to get it in by the 23rd, which is when you'd have to spend that break credit. And so that's Sunday. So we're going to give it away Friday. So it gives you a couple of days to get in. If not, they have tons of stuff going on. It was Brizzo. Yes. I also thought of Anthony Rizzo and Chris Bryant. But
Homer pick.
Yeah, but does Baez kind of beat one of them out, right? Radisson Russell? He beats everybody out. Yeah, so hit us up on those, and that way I'll do it live and give that away. That's pretty awesome. Remember our awesome interview with Leighton last week, and I heard he was on with Fat Packs this week, or he's going to be.
Good for him.
Yeah,
Good guy.
Any final thoughts before we head out, fellas?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Ben did.
Okay, I do. Yeah, I just want to throw a shout out to a loyal listener named Matt. If you're on Twitter, you can follow him at 1986 Astros, 1986 Astros. Yes, he's an Astros fan, but he's still a good dude. He sent me a care package. He pulled a vintage Ramon Laureano and said, "Hey, you want this?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I asked him what he wanted, and he said, "Just give me your address." He also threw in a negative from last year, or I think it's 2018. Pardon me, Matt Chapman, and then he threw in a couple of autos, Gene Tennis auto, in person from back in the day, an Eric Chavez, a Todd Burns on a Mother's Cookie, which is pretty cool, and a Jim Todd. So that's stuff obviously I didn't have, which is neat. Threw in a couple of base cards as well, and a couple of them were some, or that might have been another package. Sorry, I did give my son a couple cards last night. We give him a maintenance inhaler every night, and he always gives us a hard time, and we actually have to hold him down. And I gave him one of the cards. It was just a Lou Trevino base card, nothing special, but he was all excited. He's like, my card.
And a chocolate chip.
And he got an M&M too from Mom. Mom gave him an M&M, Dad gave him a card, and he calmed down just enough for us to give him his maintenance inhaler. So he was jazzed. And for Dad, it's kind of cool. Your kid's all excited about getting the card, and I put it in a top loader for him, and he put it up on the TV. That way he can go grab it when he wants to. But I wanted to thank Matt for throwing those cards my way.
That's cool.
That's pretty neat, especially coming from somebody that didn't want anything. The hashtag RAK Random Acts of Kindness. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, Steph, do you have anything before we head out tonight?
One brief one. Tyler Wagner, formerly of the Rangers and Diamondbacks, currently I think with the Brewers. It shared this morning. And it goes along with that Trevor May video that I'd mentioned. Athletes reaching out to players and signing, especially with spring training coming up. Him mentioning that, hey, he keeps picking up rainbow cards and sends them to him to have the athlete sign. And I think that's great outreach.
Oh, that's awesome. Love
34
that.
Cards.
That's cool. Rainbows are so much fun to do. They're a real pain in the
You should cover those one of these days.
Yeah. They're a real pain in the butt, but they're also really fun to go out and do. Now, you're never going to get all of the one-of-ones. If you can get a one-of-one, then that feels really good.
Real quick, Cardboard Icons, the hobby legend, Ben McGuire and I went back. Exactly. They had went back and forth on this a couple weeks ago about what constitutes a rainbow. And I kind of told him, for me, anything 25 and above, because getting anything under 25 is so hit or miss, whether they even pop. For me, when I say I'm going to get the McGuire rainbow, it's everything on the checklist down to out of 25. Anything under that is awesome and wanted, but I don't have to have it to consider it the rainbow. Sure, it's not a full rainbow, but let's be honest. Like you said,
I have a rainbow of printing plates for 2 different people.
That's cool. Our friend Tanner Jones had 4 of Bowman's Bryce Harper back in the day.
You real quick, did you see that Saquon Barkley booklet card he had that he had graded by Beckett?
Yes.
It came back in like an 8x10.
I've seen a few of those.
One, and it's like, then just say you can't grade it, bro.
Right.
It's a booklet card that's in this giant. It was ridiculous.
I'm a huge fan of The Office, and there's the prank that Jim pulls on Dwight when they're making the security badges, and his is, huge with the lamination security around risk. It. Yeah, he's like, I'm not a security risk. That's my first thought was, how huge is that? That's a security risk.
Business cards Dwight made for everybody, so they stood out.
Yeah.
Anyway, remember we're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific.
10 Central.
On YouTube, everywhere. Make sure to subscribe and follow our show on all platforms. We really appreciate that. Follow us on Twitter at About the Cards. Follow Ben at Our Trading Cards. Follow Steph at Junk Wax Twins. You can always follow me at Big Shep 79. Make sure you're following at Hobby Hotline. And you're coming and checking us out every Saturday.
Yeah. 10 Central.
10 Central, 8 a.m. It's early over here in the West Coast. We got to get our coffee in. So please make sure to share your hobby stories, great pulls, and send your questions our way. Keep collecting. Remember, we're going to do a giveaway live on Friday morning, and we're also having a Pro Bowler, an actual NFLer Pro Bowler on our show next week. So come and hang out with us then.